This video is a part of episode 5, Getting Started with GavPi, in our voice control series. Here in part 2, we'll go through 2 methods for creating a button press. When first creating your voice control profiles, one of the most common actions you're going to do is create a simple button press. There are 2 methods for creating a button press, and I will quickly talk you through how to do both and why you may wish to do one over the other. To begin, in order to modify an existing profile, you must first load the profile. You can check that it is loaded because it should say not listening and the name of your profile. Then, if you select Profile and Modify, it should take you back to your action management screen. Here you can see our previous command that we made for jump. Jump. I will quickly talk you through how to make a simple button press command. In this case, we're going to use the word forwards. So, the first thing we need to do is create a trigger. This is the word that we want GavPi to recognize in order to press the button. By right-clicking in the trigger box and selecting New and Phrase, we get to the trigger word window. The trigger name is the name that comes up in this box so that we can keep track of our various commands. In the speech recognition word or phrase box, this is where you tell GavPi the exact word you want it to listen out for. And finally, we have a comment section where we can tell ourselves what this action is actually doing. Here you can see we've added our trigger. We then need to cause an action for this trigger to activate. So by right-clicking in the action sequence box and selecting New Sequence, we get to the action sequence window. Here we can once again give ourselves a name and a comment. From here, we can create a button press in the exact same manner that we created our jump command by selecting key or mouse press, add new action, press type, and select key press. From here, you can select the key you wish to press either from the value drop-down menu or by selecting from press and simply pressing the key that you want it to activate, in this case W, and select add. You can now see that we have key press W. It has now been saved to our action sequence screen. Finally, we need to link the keyword forwards to the action to press W. We can do this by right-clicking on the action for forwards and selecting Add to Trigger. You can currently see that it's selected Jump. This is because it is a top action in our triggers. However, by selecting from this drop-down menu, we can select Forwards and Add. We can now see in the trigger events that the trigger word forwards activates the action sequence to press W. Forwards. The second way to activate a key press is to break it down into its 3 subsequent components, those being to first press the key down, to then wait a set amount of time, and then release the key. Whilst this is more in depth than simply selecting the key press command, it can be useful in games where you may wish to hold a key down for slightly longer. Cargo. Or, in some instances, some games may find that they are able to recognize the inputs better if they are done either shorter or quicker. I will now talk you through how to create a button press using the second method. It begins in much the same way. First, we need a trigger word. In this case, we will create a command for the left. By right-clicking on the Triggers event screen, select New and phrase. We then need an action for this trigger to cause. So once again, we will right click in the action sequence box and select new sequence. From here we can give it a name and a comment. As mentioned, a key press is actually 3 separate actions. First, the key is pressed down, then a short delay occurs, and finally the key is released. In this window, we need to mimic those 3 actions. The first being to simply press the key down. So in our new action type, we still have key and mouse press selected, since we want to press either the key or the mouse. We then go to add new action, and here in press type, we select key down, and once again, select the key we wish to use. You can now see we've created the first of the 3 actions we need. Press key down, A. Now we need to add the short delay that comes between pressing the key down and releasing the key once again. To do this, go to new action type, and this time we're going to select timing, and then add new action. Here we can set, in order of milliseconds, exactly how long we wish for the key to be pressed down. This is the main benefit of building your key presses in this manner, as certain buttons or certain actions you may wish to hold down for either a shorter or longer length of time, and in some instances the game may have a preference for buttons being held down slightly longer or slightly shorter. If you find that your key presses are not being recognized by the game, this may be one potential issue, and I would recommend making the timing between your key presses slightly longer. In this instance, we're going to make the time 100 milliseconds and select add. So we now have 2 parts of the puzzle. The key is pressed down and GavPi will wait 100 seconds. Finally, we need to tell GavPi to release the key again. We can do this by changing the keys back to key or mouse press, add new action, and rather than key down, we're now going to select key up, and once again, select the A key. It is important to note that GavPi will always do these actions beginning at the top and working its way down. So in this instance, it will key down A, wait 100 milliseconds, and then key up A, effectively pressing the A key. However, as mentioned, one of the main benefits of building your key presses this way is that it allows you to change the timing of exactly how long the button is held down for. This may be important in certain games, however, if you find that it does not seem to make a difference, it is certainly easier to use the previous method. Finally, we can press save. So we now have our keyword for left and the action for left. However, once again, we need to link the 2 together. We can do this by right-clicking on left, selecting add to trigger, and then from our triggers menu, selecting left and pressing add. And we can then see in our trigger events, left action sequence presses A. At this point, let us save our profile and give it a test. First, let us check that GavPi is hearing the words that we've told it to. Forwards, left, jump. Brilliant. So GavPi is picking up the words that we told it to. However, we can also check to see if it is actually pressing the keys that we wish it to press. In this case, forwards should press the W key, and left should activate the A key. One way to test this is to open up a notepad and have GavPi type the letters out for you. If we select GavPi to listen, select the notepad, forwards, left, jump. Thank you for watching this video. In part 3, we'll look at how to create hold down and stop commands in GavPi and why they are important. If you have any questions, please get in touch.